welcome to my Uni-verse. My name is Holly. I'm a contour fashion student from in Leicester, and I will be speaking to you today about what to expect when leaving home for the first time. So before we get started, I thought I would give my experience about leaving home for the first time and the emotions that I had sort of leading up to it. So I was moving about 2.5 hours drive away from my hometown to university, and I also went to uni a year after most of my friends did in my year because I took a year out to do a foundation year. So I was like, I obviously had heard from all of my friends how it was going to be. My sister had been to university, and in all honesty, you hear mixed messages from absolutely everybody. Some people end up really loving the people that they meet in their first years. Some people just don't end up being friends with them after their first year. So it was very mixed emotions, and I was such a homebody at the time as well that for me it was very scary to leave home for the first time. Very scary to go and live on my own. I didn't really rely on my mum and my dad, but you know, they were sort of my safe space, so was my room, and it was just going to be a big massive leap for me to move so far away from home, so far away from my friends, because most of my friends had gone to a uni that wasn't, you know, it was still a bit out, couldn't see them all the time, but it wasn't too far away, so I had access to them quite easily. But for me, moving all the way to Leicester was something that was just absolutely petrifying to me, and it was a real push out of my comfort zone. For first year, you usually end up in an accommodation, so it'll be a flat, a studio flat, shared flats, or you could seek a house with people looking for housemates. I do know a few people that did that in their first year, but normally it is moving into accommodations. Now they differ for every single uni. So for me, it was a 5-man flat, and I had my own ensuite but a shared kitchen. Some people go for studio flats, so they've got their kitchen, bathroom, bedroom all in one. They don't need to share that space with anybody else. For the build up towards leaving home for the first time, I would suggest, obviously you need to buy all your different essentials, so I would suggest buying your own cutlery, pans, pots, different plates, bowls, everything that you can call your own. So that's just for your kitchen stuff, making sure that you have all the different foods, everything that you'll need, your spices, anything that would maybe make it more comfortable for you, so that you've got your own stuff and you don't need to rely on anybody else. You don't have to rely on talking to anybody else. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, you've got your own stuff. Definitely invest in some bits and bobs for your bedroom. So I would suggest printing out a load of pictures. So I'm pretty sure you've all heard of free prints. Free prints is great. You get about 40 every single month and you just pay for the postage. I would definitely recommend printing off a few of them before you go, before you move out and whilst you're at uni as well, just because you've got that little bit of memories and stuff that can keep you connected to home, if home is where your heart is, basically, like mine. I would recommend also bringing, if you have some teddies, bring your teddies, because that can always make you feel connected to home. I'd recommend a really big cozy dressing gown, slippers. Really make your first year uni accommodation feel like home, because there's nothing worse than going into a uni accommodation and feeling like it's your hotel for a year, because you won't settle in, you won't feel comfortable if you don't have bits of your personality scattered around the room. So my mum paints, she's an artist, and I have some of her art hanging up from my first year, took it to my second year, now I'm on my placement year. I've brought that piece of art with me, and I've always put it in a place where I can very obviously see it, and that always reminds me of home. Also just having really nice cozy bits in your room, because uni accommodations, they can feel very lonely. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not saying that you should be worried or scared. It's just an emotion that you will feel whilst you're at uni, especially moving away from home. But loneliness isn't always the worst thing in the world. It's going to really develop your independence, and it's really going to make you feel connected to yourself more as well. So take it as a positive. Another tip that I'd give you is scheduling in calls, FaceTimes. I don't know if you guys ever did during COVID, like group calls where you'd all get on and do a quiz, you know. Schedule those things for now with your friends and family at home, because not everyone's going to be free when you need them to be, and it's very disheartening calling somebody and they can't talk right now. But if you schedule it in, you've got something to look forward to. You get a bit of a reminder of, you know, your home life, and it's also good to check in with your family and friends at home, because also in first year you're probably going to be very busy. Making sure that you incorporate them into your busy schedule would be very, very important, and also just good for your sort of well-being. So as well as planning in for calls and FaceTimes and stuff, just plan going home, plan going and see you and your friends at their other unis, plan going home in a couple weeks time, and then you've always got something to look forward to. It's not on your mind as much because you know it's a plan that's set in place. You've got your train tickets, you're gonna go home. That always sort of helped me out, because if I was feeling a bit lonely in my uni room, missing home, feeling a bit homesick, I'm like, oh well, I'm going home in a couple of weeks, like I'm here, I'm gonna make the most of it. I'm not gonna dwell on that because I've sorted out the fact that I'll be going home and my homesickness will fade. It's not as bad as you think it's going to be. So I was really pleasantly surprised when I came into my first year accommodation. My housemates were really nice, very respectful. I did make friends with a few of those. We went out, we had drinks. I can't lie, you won't always get housemates that are very clean, but just make sure that you stick your neck out and make sure that you set boundaries. And if those boundaries aren't met, always get in contact with your accommodations, because it can always move you. There's always spare places. If you're not comfortable in your first year accommodation, then I'd just recommend moving, getting out of that situation, because there's nothing worse than not wanting to go back to your home away from home. It should feel like, you know, your own little sanctuary away from hectic uni life, hectic uni partying, etc. Just do prepare for maybe a bit of noise. My first year accommodation was, the walls were basically thin, paper thin, could hit everything. But you get used to it, especially when you live in a city as well. There is constantly cars, sirens, people shouting outside, drunk people, you know, so you've just got to get used to sleeping whilst there's a racket going on around you. I was also very lucky that I met a few people on my course as well that really wanted to meet up. A few of them were actually in my accommodation, a few of them were outside of the accommodation, so got to meet up with those. We went out for drinks, really sticking my neck out, just making sure that I made friends with people at all chances. You know, a friend of a friend has invited you to a party, go to it, and then make friends with all the people at the party. You know, you really have to have a lot of confidence when you're leaving home, and if you feel like you lack that, then that's okay, because if you think about it, you're moving to a whole new place, no one knows who you are, and you can just finally be yourself, and if people don't like it, you don't need to see them again, sort of thing. You're not going to like everybody that you bump into as well, so just having the confidence to go out and talk to people and really make friends and engage, because you'll meet people from all different walks of life. Making friends, you can do that obviously in your accommodations, like I said, within your course. Meeting up before the course starts as well is quite fun, because you get that week or two before uni actually starts with freshers. Joining a society. Now for me, when I heard about societies, I thought they were so cringe. I just thought it was some American frat thing, you know, we didn't really take it seriously in the UK, but societies are massive and they're really fun. You don't have to feel pressured to do the sport that you join as well. So I did pole fitness in second year. I've never done pole fitness in my entire life. I do want to, but there was no shame on it. I went to I went to most of the socials on a Wednesday as well, dressed up, and it was so fun, made so many friends that way as well. And also going to the classes themselves. I know I didn't, but I'm going to try next year, and you can make loads of friends that way as well. There was a lot of girls who I seen go out together and stuff because they met at pole fitness, and then they all went to the socials together on a Wednesday night. Socials are usually really good to be a part of as well, just because there's loads of things happening. So it's not just your Wednesday night that you have your society nights and you go out and drink. They've got charity events, there's varsities. Just getting involved in that all together is actually a really fun bit of uni, and it's something that I think I wish that I did more in my second year, but I can always make up for it in my third. And leaving home for the first time, you have got a lot of independence, but you've got a lot of room to meet new people and really just get immersed in this new city that you found as well. But also, you don't have to have friends to go and discover the city as well. You can go and discover it on your own. I used to take myself off to coffee shops and just sit and do my uni work in there. Also, leaving home for the first time as well, there's a lot of a safety aspect as well. So making sure that you're safe, you've got the correct things in your area that you know about. You've got your Uber, Bolt, anything for terms of lifts. Make sure that you maybe learn your bus routes. You've got friends that are on speed dial if you're ever walking anywhere. Safety's massive, especially if you do have to be on your own at times, walking places. Just make sure that you're really safe and being vigilant. Being independent as well is learning how to cook. There's so many different things. TikTok is amazing for learning really easy, cheap uni meals and how to make them. There's loads of people on TikTok that are willing to offer advice on how to cook, clean, keeping your things safe. Just make sure you do a lot of research before you go to uni, but that doesn't mean that if you don't research it all, you're not well prepared. The whole point of going to uni is just doing it and learning from your mistakes, because that's how you learn the best, to be honest. That's just a very quick, brief overview of all the advice that I can give you going to uni and leaving home for the first time. It's not easy, but it's also not as bad as you think it's going to be. You're all in the same position as well, so just remember to be kind, remember to stick your neck out, be confident. It's easier said than done, and just get involved with your uni course, get involved with societies, get involved with, good luck with uni anyway. I hope that I have been able to give you some sort of advice or make you feel a little bit more at ease about going to uni. It's really not as bad as you think it's going to be. It's going to be very exciting, and you're going to be sad when it's over and it's coming to the end, like it is for me. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to see you again in another video.